Yeah, hello. My name is Song Liu, and I work as a data analyst at Netflix. Over the past few weeks, I have been looking into a question that's been on the leadership team's mind: whether our mobile app experience is one of the things really driving customer dissatisfaction. To answer that, I pulled 5,000 real user reviews, run an NLP pipeline, and build two machine learning models. In the next 9 minutes, I will walk you through what I found and what I think what we should do. So, why does this question matter? Three numbers. First, a 1% move in chunk on our mobile-driven revenue base is on the order of $8 billion a quarter. That gets noticed. Second, about 90% of streaming consumption now happens on mobile. The app is no longer a side channel, it's a front door. Third, it's roughly 5 times more expensive to acquire new subscribers than retain one. Small retention wise, payback fast. So my job was fourfold: qualify sentiment, identify the drivers of dissatisfaction, build a model that flags negative reviewers automatically, and translate funding into product action. I translated the business question into two complementary ML problems. First, supervised learning. Sentiment classification: reviews with 4 or 5 stars are positive, 1 or 2 stars are negative. The model can score every new review automatically as it comes in. Second, unsupervised learning: K-means topic clustering on just the negative reviews. The classifier tells us whether a review is negative. Charles Krustin it's about one side's the problem, the other tell us what to fix. Now, quick note on the data: 5,000 Netflix mobile app reviews from Hugging Face, about 80% Google Play, 20% Apple App Store, all from June 2025. Reviews are short and English. The median is around 12 words. Look at the rating distribution on the right. It's strongly J-shaped. One-star reviews dominate at 41%. Five-star reviewers are the second largest bucket at 28%, and the mid is mostly empty. The headline number is at the foot of the slide. Mean rating 2.74 out of 5. The peer benchmark for streaming apps is around 4. That's not a small gap. The cleaning pipeline runs in 4 steps. Step 1: I dropped the title column, 80% missing, and dropped 3-star reviews, so the model focuses on clear, polarized the options. That gets us from 5,000 reviews down to 4,526. Step 2: Standard normalization. Low, lowercase strip URLs. Punct, punctuation digits. Step 3: Remove English stop words plus a few Netflix specific ones like Netflix and the app themselves. They are in almost every review and don't carry signal. Step 4: Elimination plus building the binary segment label. Final balance is roughly 43% positive and 57% negative. Reasonably balanced, no resembling needed. The example at the bottom shows the before and after. Sentiment burning was preserved, filter gone. So before fitting any model, I just look at the most frequent words by sentiment. Look at the contrast. On the negative slide, time keep broken anymore buffering, account updates. The background are even more telling. Does work means does not work. Shows up over 170 times. Bluffing over 100. Subscription charged over 120. On the positive slide, good streaming, love, download, quality, flights. People price the content and the convenience. So even before any modeling, the data is telling us that something's clear. People complain about the app. They price the content. The catalog is not the problem. So for future, I use TF-IDF on anagrams and bigrams, capped at 5,000 features, minimum document frequency of 3. TF-IDF is a strong, transparent baseline. It downweights generic words and the bigram catch sentiment price like does work and keep crashing that single word would miss. After an 80-20 satisfied split, the training matrix is 3,620 reviewers by 667 features. I trained two models: logistic regression, linear, fast, fully interpretable; random forest, non-linear, capture word, intersection. Comparing them tell us whether the TF-IDF features carry enough signal on their own, and I use five-fold cross-validation throughout to guard against overfitting. Both models score about 95% accuracy on the held-out test set. F1 is 0.94. OROC AUC is 0.94, and the five-fold cross-validation F1 on training data is essentially identical, which means the model is not overfitting, but the model actually tie on accuracy, precision, real core, and F1. Random forest has marginal edge on AOC, but it's tiny. So I picked logistic regression as the deployment model for three reasons. Same accuracy, about 10 times faster at inference, which matters when you are scoring millions of reviews, and is fully interpretable. Now, we have a model that flags negative reviews. The product team will immediately ask, negative about what? So I clustered the 2,500 negative reviews with k-means on TF-IDF, k equal 5 via the elbow math. 5 themes ranked by volume. Number 1 is performance and bluffing. Number 2, 50%. Broken feature, audio out of SYNC. Subtitle, watch party not working. Number 3, 40%. App cache, often device specific. Number 4, 5% billing disputes. Number 5, 4%. Content good, app bad. So three concrete recommendations. One, fix the bluffing and the performance cluster first. Second, deploy this classifier as a daily monitoring pipeline. F1 of 0.94 is production ready. Score every new review automatically. 3. Run a target retention campaigns on the loved content. Hit the app segment. They are explicitly says the product is great, high churn risk, but high savability. Quickly, the limitation: 1 month of English-only reviews, seasonal and global patterns out of scope, binary segment loss in information. A 1 to 5 regression would be natural follow-up. So next step, transformer embedding. 12 months and 5 languages, join with class data and the Tableau dashboard for the product team. Thank you and happy to take questions.